Hello, it's Gem Games here once again and welcome to this new Unreal Engine 5 tutorial. In this video we're going to continue with this objective system. So yeah, let's get started. First we want to go to the enum folder and we want to create a new enumeration. Let's call this objective enum. Let's open it. Here we want to add two enumerators. The first one will be called set new and the second one will be called check. Okay, simple as that. Now we can save and close. Next thing is we want to go back to the blueprints and from there we want to go to the structures and the game event, and here on the GE objective struct, let's open it. And what we want to do here now, we want to add a new variable. This will be called, let's call it task or something like that, task. Okay, and let's change the objective type to, the variable type to objective enum. Now let's drag from here to the middle over the set objective and increase objective index. And we created this so we can actually check if we don't want to set new objective, if we want to just check if this objective, if the index and also the needed objective are correct, so we can play some different kind of event without new objective. Okay, let's save, let's close, and next thing we want to go to the event trigger. So blueprints, interactable, game events, event trigger. Now, okay, it already opened to here. Let's also open the game event. I have some uncompiled things here, so let's compile, save. Let's go back here and game event. Let's open this first. And we want to open this because we have to create a new variable here, and it will be called trigger ref. And let's move it to the reference category. And also let's change the variable type to the event trigger object reference, and instance editable and expulsion spawn, like that. Compile, save. Now we want to go back to the event trigger and we want to right click this spawn actor game event because we want to reference nodes. Now we have this new trigger ref here. If you didn't get this, you might need to reopen the blueprint. It sometimes happens. Now let's get from the trigger ref and let's get a reference to self. So when we are spawning this game event actor, we're also setting the trigger ref variable as ourselves. So we're basically just promoting this event trigger as a variable on here. Okay. And do we have to do something else here? Yes, we actually have to do. Let's delete this from here. Okay. So we don't need those for now. Okay. So now we can compile, save all, and go back to the game event. And yeah, here on the game event, we want to create a new function. Let's call this end event. Yep. Okay. And here on the end event, we want to just check if we can basically end this event, so we can delete or destroy the event trigger and so on. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to get the trigger ref that we just created, and from here we want to get the do once variable. Get do once, and also we have to get end boolean like this, And now let's create a new variable and let's call this can continue. And let's change the type to Boolean. Now let's compile, save, and let's get the can continue here. So if we do once, and also if we can continue, let's add a branch, and left click, like this. So if we get true from both of these, what we want to do is we want to get our trigger ref, and we want to destroy actor. And also we want to just destroy actor without anything connected to the target. So we're destroying also the game event, so ourselves, like this. Now we can copy this node, paste it to here, and get from the false, and add a reroute, and yeah. Simple as that. So basically, if we do once, and we can continue, I will explain this later, then we destroy trigger and also ourselves. If we cannot, if either one of these is false, then we just destroy ourselves, and we still have this trigger, so it can be called again, basically. Now, compile, save, and let's go back to the event graph. Now here, let's move all this a little bit further. Oh, what happened? Maybe like this. And here, from on the false, we want to call the end event that we just created. End event, like this. So if the event index is not less than the total amount, we will call the end event. And yeah. And here on the game event, let's just call the next event checker. Let's leave some space because we will add a lot of stuff here later on. And now here on the objective, what we want to do is, if our objective index is not greater or equal, so if it's false, we want to set the can continue to the false. And actually, one thing, we have to make this can continue default value as true. This is very important. So click this variable and set it to true. Compile and save. And here on the false, we will set it to false, and also here on the false, we will set it to false. So can continue, false. And let's put it to here, because we also want to set it to true here. So from the true to the true, and from here to from the true to the true, and from the false to the false. Now let's connect this back here. And one more thing that we want to do here with this is, let's actually move all these just a little bit further, because we want to first check if our objective struct task, let's get a switch on objective enum. We want to check that the task is actually set new. If it's checked, then we can just skip this whole thing. We don't need any of this. So what all this does. Compile, save. I will show you here. You don't have to do this. If I select this trigger box and I open the new event here. Now, if I have selected the set new, then it will here set new if all these objective indexes greater or equal, or the current objective is equal to the needed objective. Then it will set this to true, and it will set the current objective to the new one, basically, like this. If I have set this to the check, then if I put anything here or here, it will just check if those are true, and basically set the can continue to true or false, and it doesn't do anything here. And later on, when we add some different kind of events, so for example, we spawn something or something like that, we will add here a branch and check if can continue. And if we can continue, we will do all those things. Otherwise, we will just call this or this, I don't know yet, but yeah. So, yeah, you will understand later. I will compile, save all, and actually, I think here, yeah. So, next thing, let's leave this open. Let's go to the third person map. And then we have to go to the blueprints, and let's actually open the BP player character, because we will have to do one little thing here on the event graph. So let's go to the begin play. And here at the end, what we want to do is we want to get game mode, and then we want to cast to horror game mode. And from here, we want to promote this horror game mode to a variable. Let's actually move this to the reference category. And from the horror game mode, we actually have to open the horror game mode first. So compile and save again. And pp horror game mode. And here, we just have to create a new variable called HUD-ref, and the variable type will be W player HUD object reference. Yeah, and let's also create a category. So ref. Can we move this up here? Okay, it doesn't matter. So we have this HUD-ref here. So how can we get this? Is simple as let's compile, save, and let's actually move this next to the BP player character here. Now, after we have promoted the SBP horror game mode to a variable, what we want to do, we want to get from the SBP horror game mode, and we want to set HUD-ref. Like this, connect to here. Now, from here, we want to get the HUD-ref from our player character and connect it to there. So we're just passing this reference to here when the game starts, basically. Okay, compile, save, and we can close the BP player character. Now, here on the BP horror game mode, we have to create a simple thing, which is, let's create a new custom event. Let's call this set new objective. Okay, and here we want to add an input, and this input will be called new objective, and it will be type text. And now we want to get the current objective, and we want to set it here. And after that, we want to get our HUD-ref. And now we will have to go to the HUD. Sorry, this whole video is basically just jumping around blueprints. But yeah, compile, save, and let's go to the HUD and W player HUD. Okay, and let's go to the graph. And here on the graph, let's create also a new custom event. And this will be called new objective or set new objective or whatever. Also, let's add here the new objective input. Oh, I mistyped. New objective, and the variable type will be text, of course. Now, compile, save all, just to be sure. Let's go one more time back to the BP horror game mode. And here, now we can get from the HUD-ref, and we can set new new why did I call it just new objective? I think set new objective is better, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Now let's connect this to here, and let's pass this current objective to here. Compile, save, and now we have to do one more thing on the game event, because before we did it like this, so we just set the objective. Now we can delete this, we can get from here, we can set new objective, call the function from the set new, and get this variable to here. And actually now it doesn't fit that well, so let's move it to here. Maybe like what I'm doing. So let's connect it here. Yeah, it can be like that. Now from here, let's connect it back to here. Connect this back to here. I'm not even sure if we need this one anymore, but yeah. Compile, save all. Now to the W player HUD. Let's create the animation. So let's go to the designer. So first let's get a border. Let's move it here. Okay. Let's anchor it to the top left corner. Let's set the position X to 40 and position Y to 40. Size, I will set it to like, it actually doesn't matter. Let's set the size Y to like 55. It also doesn't matter that much, but yeah. And now we actually don't have to do anything else with this. Let's actually just set the size to content to true. Okay. Now let's get another border under this, and let's actually rename the first to be objective border, and the second one, let's rename it, sorry, I'm stupid, objective background, so objective BG or background, it doesn't matter. And the second border will be called objective border, and here I want to set the padding to 0 on all these. Oh, I actually can do it here. I'm stupid. And the padding on the content under here, we want to set the left padding to 20. Oh, not that much. 20. Top padding to 10. Right padding to 20. And bottom, I think it's supposed to be 10, but I, for some reason, had put it 12 before, so I think there's some reason maybe. And then what we want to do is we have to go down here and we have to change the draw as border and the tint. Let's open it and let's set all these values to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5, and yeah, as you can see, it's there exactly at the middle. Okay, I think this is pretty good. The next thing is we have to change the margin to be 1 on the top and 1 on the bottom. So now we have these two lines basically. You cannot see it yet. And also, yeah, actually that's all here. Let's compile and save all just to be sure. And the next thing, we want to get a horizontal box under the objective border. And yeah, I'm not sure if I want to rename this. And here, what we want to add here is an size box. And let's click on that. And here, I want to change the padding to be 20 on the right and horizontal alignment to the left and vertical alignment to the center, like this. And this width override and height override to 32, 32. Okay. Now what you want to do is you want to actually go to the link in the description that takes you to my Google Drive, and you want to download this playicon.png. Okay. Then let's go back to the project. Let's go to the textures folder. You want to go to this folder, and then you want to get the play icon, and you want to drag it to the folder like this. Then let's open it, and let's change the texture group to UI, and also compression settings to user interface 2D. Now we can save and close. Now here under the size box, we want to add an image. This will be called objective image. Okay, and the image under the brush will be the play icon. And image size, we don't actually have to change it. We can just set the horizontal alignment to the middle and also the vertical alignment to the middle. And we actually cannot see anything, so let's go back to the objective background, and here on the brush color, let's change it to black, and also let's set the alpha to like 0.9, 0.8 or something like that. So now we can start to see something. Okay, so the next thing that we want to add here, and it's actually the last thing, it's we have to add an text. Let's move it to the horizontal box, so to here. Now this text, what we want to do here is we want to change the, this can be just like new objective, so we can see how it looks. Oh, why did I add this underscore? Okay, new objective. I think the font size is actually, that's pretty good. I just want to change this typeface to regular. I cannot say that. And now we want to make this an variable, as a variable, and we want to change this variable name to objective text. Okay, let's compile. Let's actually save all. And next we have to create an animation. It's pretty simple. So let's go to the animations here. Let's create a new animation. Let's call this show new objective. Let's click on that. Now, as this objective background is selected, we want to add a track objective background like this. And on the 0 mark, what we want to add is we want to add render opacity track, and we want to set it to 0. Now on 0.5, let's set it to 1. You can obviously make this look however you want, but I'm doing it like this. And yeah, now let's go to the 5-second mark, and let's also add key there. So it looks like this. It just comes here and it stays. Okay. Why do we want to make it stay is because now we want to select our objective image, and we want to add objective image, and under here we have to add this render opacity track. Okay, and now we actually added it to the 0.5 mark. I want to move it to 0.75. Okay, actually it doesn't matter. But yeah, now let's go to 1.25. Yeah, and let's set it to 0, and let's go to the 1.75, and let's set it back to 1. And can we just like copy this? If we go to 2.25, okay, so we actually just want to make it flash like this. So after 0.5 seconds, it will go away and it will come back after 0.5 seconds. So 3.25 paste and 4.25 paste. So how does it look? Okay, so it will play like this, so you know that you have new objective. Okay, let's compile, let's save all, let's go back to the graph. And here on new objective, what we want to do is we want to get our objective text. And if you cannot see it here, it's because you haven't set it as variable like this. Okay, objective text. Now we want to set text under the content. And now new objective, let's connect it to the text. And after that, we want to get our animation, which will be the show new objective. And we want to play animation after this. Okay, compile, save. And do we have to do something else? Oh, we have to go back to the horror game mode. And here, actually, we have done all that already. So let's actually save again and see if this works. Let's play. Oh, okay. One problem I noticed already. Back to the player HUD. And let's unselect the animation. So click from anywhere from this box. Now let's select the objective background and we want to set the render opacity to 0 as default. Now we don't see it, but when we come here, it doesn't work. Why it doesn't work? And that's because I set this to check before. So I want to set it to set new. Let's change this objective to be like go to the house or something like that. Save and let's play. So now go to the house, the animation will play, then it will stay there. Okay, it works, and this should not call. Yeah, it doesn't call, it doesn't go away or do anything, because I think we have some requirement there. So let's click on this. And mean objective index 1, and we have 0 because we haven't set it to here. Okay, if we set this to true, now this should play. We can just leave it to be objective 2. Okay, so let's see. Go to the house. Okay, and then when we go to here, objective 2. Okay, that's working. Let's do one more thing. Let's change this, the second one, to check. And yeah, we're just checking if we have the objective index 1. And here on the game event, on the we have all, sorry, we can just get print string, check, let's call it check. You don't have to do this, but yeah. Compile, save, and now if we go to there, like this, yeah, it doesn't call anything. And if we have this objective, so now our objective index is 1, and if we go to here, it should print the check. So let's see, check. Okay, and what that does is now later on we can add some effects or like different kind of events without any new objective with these same trigger boxes. And let's actually try one more thing. If we change this to once to false, it shouldn't remove the box. So let's see. We get this, go to the house, and now when we go to there, it will say check, but it will not delete the box. Check. Check. Okay. Yeah, everything is working like it's supposed to be. So yeah, I actually think that was all for this video. If you like what you saw, please click the like button and subscribe for more. And yeah, hope you have a great day and see you on the next one.